Good day, Mr. Briggs. Please select an agent for your next mission. Scanning Imperial Agent Database. Qualified agent found. Agent ID, Craig A. Glesner. Agent cover story, President, Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. Details as follows.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to Traveler Mayday 2022, sponsored by CyborgPrime Games. You can find me at cyborgprime.com or by searching for my name in the Facebook search tool, or find a link in the video description below. Thanks for joining us for our 4th annual Mayday Traveler Day event. It's a day we celebrate Traveler and all its additions and offshoots for all the fun times it's given us around the gaming table with friends and family. I'm your host, Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and today I'm happy to introduce our guest, Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, thank you much. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming back.
No, thank you for having me. Kind of shocked you asked me the first time. I'm like, I'm nobody.
Well, I'm glad you volunteered. You've been here since the beginning, so thanks for your continued support. Means a lot.
Yeah, as long as I'm around.
So Craig, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Who are you, and what do you do?
Craig A. Glesner, president of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. I make traveler stuff. I game. I'm a kitty dad. That's pretty much my life.
All right.
I'm terribly boring. That's the point of being a hermit. You get to be terribly boring until people want your advice. And then you could be like, oh, well, since I haven't talked to anybody in a year.
Travel over this obstacle course, and then maybe I'll dole out some wisdom.
Yeah, well.
Climb a mountain.
Introvert.
Yeah, where do you prefer your hermitage? In the desert, on a mountaintop, in the swamp?
Dead in the city, dude. I like delivery.
Oh, okay. Right. I'm a city dwelling.
I'm a modern hermit.
Okay.
Aesthetic, oh, I'm going to live on rice and water and bugs. No, screw you, buddy. I like the modern ones. I have a phone. Seriously, though, Tibetan monks, man, you got to check them dudes out, man. Everybody thinks they're all scrabbled and poor and stuff, and it's like, but, they're still modern people, so they still have iPhones.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Or sunglasses for when it's bright out,
Right.
It's not like they were like, ooh, technology. They're not Luddites people. They're monks. There's a difference.
So, Craig, where are you from, and where did you grow up? Where are you living now?
Milwaukee with brief stints in Illinois, central Illinois, in the farmland. In a tiny town called Peoria, which at least had cool steamboat races every year, and New York City, land of TV movies and capital of planet Earth, for a year. But I learned to live there. And then, I'm back here in Milwaukee, because that's where all my friends are, and it's where I grew up. I don't know. I hate the cold. You'd think I knew somewhere warm, but nope. Because they have bugs and poisonous snakes. I'm just like, no.
You definitely don't want to go to Australia. Everything's poisonous.
Good God, Australia.
Although they have those ginormous coconut crab things that they're like the size of dogs. Like ginormous hermit crabs. Look them up on Google if you want to scare yourself with a giant crab.
Whatever, dude. I've seen spider crabs. I've seen all the nasty things because I'm into that stuff. But yeah, no, dude. Every time I see that coconut crab, I'm just like, oh, but how tasty is it?
Wait, does coconut describe how it tastes, or what it's best with?
Yeah, I mean, I want some. I mean, maybe. I mean, it was deadly poisonous or something.
Right.
You got to be careful with Australia.
Yeah.
Like 95% of the shit there apparently can kill you, according to most Australians.
Yep.
Including the continent. Wander off in the wrong way. Oops, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll find you in 100 years. Oh yeah.
Yeah, my friend he's from Australia, calls them like murder noodles or something like that, or.
Oh yeah, I can believe that, murder noodles. I love this modern trend of naming animals more accurately than what we actually think of them, like trash panda.
Right, yeah, trash panda. So
Yeah, kind of, because the red panda is technically more associated to a raccoon than a bear.
yep,
Oops.
yeah, I guess so.
So trash panda may be more accurate.
That's right.
Oops. Biology is cool, kids.
Do you have
Weird,
any
but cool.
do you have any hobbies aside from gaming and doing traveler stuff?
Reading, looking up weird science stuff, reading the occasional study because I need to know something and I need to know it proper, or at least have a grounded idea of what the hell I'm talking about.
So you read mostly like technical documentation, or
Not since I'm in my 20s and I finally gave up on my I need to know everything about the police and the military because, wow, they're kind of authoritarian and I'm kind of not anymore. So,
right?
I mean, it's really weird watching this war in Ukraine and just be like, I had to rewatch videos on how to recognize a BMP from a BTR. When I was a kid, I knew it. You know, I could have given you stats and poured out volumes of data because I'm a nerd and I know stuff. I'm kind of a little military otaku. And not that I knew the term at the time, but you know. And now I'm like, yeah, it's a Russian tank. I think it's a modern one because it's flatter, less rounded on the top.
So,
Is
so
it D80? I don't know.
what are your favorite things to read these days?
Gosh, honestly, I can't lie. I've been kind of going back and forth between Charles Strauss and his laundry files whenever he pumps one of those bad boys back out because I've read them all already. I mean, because screw Lovecraft, he's a racist and kind of a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Charlie, ooh, and that man's on his stuff. I've read his blogs, and like he's writing these books like he's doing proper science fiction. Hey kids, if you subtract all the weird parts out, there's some things to be said here. Maybe you know, technology is kind of super ubiquitous now, and you know, a lot of people just don't know how that shit works. I mean, which is kind of fun because I grew up in the days when like portable computer was kind of like the military meant portable weapons system. It could weigh up to 50 pounds.
Yeah, like the entire K Pro computer was like contained in this like suitcase thing, you, like towed around.
My dad had an Osborne.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it was, a big aluminum case with a keyboard on it.
Yeah, the keyboard was actually like the lid or something, right? It clamped on.
Yeah, it had two little silver luggage
little buckles, yeah, luggage
on the
buckles.
side.
Yeah.
You pop that off, and it had a little cord that you could pull out. And then there was the big phone modem with the phone where you plug the handset of the landline into the machine, and it made AOL noises before AOL.
Yep. It didn't even. Yeah, right. They didn't even really have modular jacks yet, or for some reason they didn't plug it into the modem, right? Because you had to have an old school phone that had the receiver and the speaker as two separate things that could plug into these rubber boots. Yeah.
Yep, different inputs and outputs. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had a slimline phone, or that's what they're called now, right? This slimline phones, those wouldn't work.
You'd be outie 5,000, my friend. But also back in the days when you could, you know, program the telephone system with a Captain Crunch whistle. Oops. Yeah.
So, do you have any sci-fi books or TV shows or movies that inspire you as far as like science fiction?
Well, honestly, just got into this discussion on a Facebook post the other day, and I had to admit that like my three favorite authors are all women.
Oh yeah, which ones?
I started on McCaffrey because I got into the Dragon Riders because of course I'm a nerd.
Okay.
And I'd read Lord of the Rings already and the Silmarillion in my high school library, so I was into, you know, whatever else I could get. And then I found her Federation and her talents, and I was like, oh, she does more than that. And I really liked Federation. You know, I liked the fact that they were like, Dinosaur Planet was a book I reread as a child a lot because it had those weird, the silicon-based life forms who were secretly kind of maybe running everything and not telling everybody everything because they were an old race. And the mutiny that happens and the fact that all of a sudden the heavy worlders, I mean, totally honestly, I got to say, I'm not usually a fan of Daryl Sweet in his cover arts, but that Dinosaur Planet dude, he made those heavy worlders look dangerous and just they looked like they'd come from a world with heavier gravity. And between him and McCaffrey, that's kind of where my heavy worlders are coming from in a way. I can't lie. That's my inspiration, was those two people. And then McMaster Bushel for the Miles Berkozigan, who I named my second new ship's cat after. Because he's little, and he's always little, and he's a fighter. But he's smart. So, and of course, CJ Cherry and Jane, who's, oh my God, I'm blanking on Jane's last name, but her wife, basically, for the Alliance Union universe, and of course, the Compact Space novels. And she's doing new Alliance Union. Yay, we're finally getting Origins.
All right.
Back in the original. So, those are pretty much my favorite. Of course, the sprinkling of Niven and Cornell and Heinlein, of course, because, old school.
Right.
For me, my generation. I mean, not like Mark and his Doomerest and stuff.
Right. I've never managed to read a Doomerest, but I had jury duty recently, and I read a ginormous Heinlein collection.
I read the very first novel. I found it on books, and I was like, I got to at least read it. And sure enough, it opens up with it being pulled out of cryo sleep, brought a low berth, and low berth is not used for humans; it's used for animals. Which immediately tells you he is not the most legal of dudes.
Right.
About sometimes you get the bad ones where they just put everybody to sleep, and by to sleep I mean euthanize them and steal all their shit and dump the bodies in space. Oops.
Right.
And the high class people basically stay in little rooms where they're mostly on drugs. It's like, wow. It's like, this is where space travel started. No wonder it was so damn harsh in the little black books. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, you got the low lottery of how many people are going to croak. Kind of grim. Risky.
I can't lie, dude. There's an article I've been wanting to write, and I really should get down to writing it, about the technologies and the different technologies of low berths. Because it's just so damn predominant, but the tech levels between, in Traveler can go wildly extreme. I mean, you've got like 9 where we've just discovered jump drive and gravity control. Woo! And we're still putting people to sleep with chemicals, hoping they wake up.
Right.
And, you're going to get to like tech level 15 where it's just like, yeah, we're starting to experiment with stasis capsules for real emergency situations in like military vessels. Ever since we found the black globe, we realized we could do some really cool shit with screens. So I mean, there's got to be a big difference between jumping in some crappy little TL-12 trader, or even worse, some tech level 9 barely out system trader that's like, from some world that just discovered star travel, versus, I'm taking a tech level 15 liner, and they're going to have a medic there. And this guy's going to be serious, probably like a ship surgeon who's basically responsible for making sure I don't die when they pull me out.
Right.
And also different methods. So, yeah, I should probably do that soon.
I know you're not a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft, but it was just brought to mind the Whisperer in Darkness, where in order to do space travel, you have your brain taken out and put it in a cylinder, and then
the Migo.
Yeah, and then the Migo fly it to the other, fly it off into space. Mm-hmm. So, what tech level is that, where you put your brain in a case and send it exploring space?
18, maybe
18?
16. Actually, no, 15.
Why not take your whole body?
Technically under T5, remember, there is the possibility for an organic brain ship's computer. We had discussion about whether or not you should the Zodani put a nameplate discussing who the donor is for the clone brain that's running the ship's computer.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not they could have psionics. And I think we decided, no, we can't give the ship psionics because that's just OP.
It could be human-sized psionics. I mean, it doesn't have to be ship-sized, because it is still a human-sized brain, right?
Oh, yeah. But mostly.
What about telepathic controls? That could be cool.
Honestly, well, technically, Zodani, most Zodani ships come with those.
Oh, standard. Yeah, I suppose so.
As you remember, that's one of those points I made in the Herald. It's just one of the few Imperial ships that has TP, door switches and stuff, because it was meant to go into Jordani space, but they're going to expect to be able to just mind flick a door open.
Mm-hmm.
None of that, boop, boop, boop stuff. I'm like, no, this is my mental signature. It's me. Open up.
Right.
So, again, I have Jordani leanings. I know. I'm terrible.
So tell me how you got into gaming. What was your first experience with RPGs like?
In the Child Adolescent Treatment Center in Milwaukee County, where I had a kid in there who they allowed to have his D&D books. And he found out I was a nerd. And he was like, you want to try this game? It's called Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, sure. And like he laid out the classes, and I was in my little sociopathic, maybe on the way phase before I became a human being. And I was like, thief class, I'm that. Let's do this shit. And I made my way through the entire dungeon, got to the throne of many gems, 99, the ultimate thief's greed trap. There's 99 magical gems, and they do 99 magical things, but you don't know what they are. And like a dummy, I sat on the throne, and I said, okay, I press this one here on the arm. And he goes, clack, clack, clack. Oh, I'm so sorry. What? I'm so sorry. You're disintegrated. Like, no save. I get a saving throw. No, you don't.
That was like the worst thing you could touch. Like, it was like the big red gem.
It was disintegrate, because remember in the old days there was no fucking death save. Either you made your save, and this one was directly designed to kill the person in the chair.
Right.
So I mean, and that was the very first time I also got to see behind the screen, because he literally just lifted the screen up so I realized, and he kept his hands above the screen the entire time he was talking.
Did you get
mad? So he lifts up the screen, and he comes here and shows me. He's like, "Come over here, look at the dice," and then he shows me the chart. And it was just like, oh. So yeah, my literally very first role-playing game experience was getting killed. And the masochist in me was like, I want to do this some more.
Again.
Ever since. Oh, yeah.
Well, it seems like, that's surprising. I know a lot of people, my friends' kids mostly, who, if that happened to them, they made it all the way through the dungeon, and then the last thing, they get like basically meaninglessly killed. They would be very upset. They might not come back.
No, it was because he was honest about it. He was like, you just got killed by RNG, bro.
Right.
Like, if people bitch about getting killed by RNG nowadays, and I'm like, that was literally the first thing I ever basically had in gaming. And RNG total kill. Mm-hmm. Quit your bitching. It's part of the game. It's along with the grind. Sometimes you just die.
Right.
That's why I love video games, dude.
Well, plus, it's up to the GM. Right. Yeah, no, they're pretty harsh. The GM can fudge things, though, and go, roll again. Or like take the better of 3 rolls, or like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what computer and video games got that the PvP doesn't.
Right.
Reload. Saves come. I didn't get the roll. Let me reload. Didn't get the roll. Let me reload. Didn't get the points I want. Click for another set of stats. Another set of stats. 18, no double lot.
Ooh, I'll take that. For my fighter, right?
Yeah. No, dude. Excuse you. I played Magnus of Thornwood Archmage.
Of course.
Whose catchphrase was, I'm buff, because he was. 18, 16, 18.
Nice.
18, 11, 16.
That's a lot of 18s.
It was all natural, too. The bullshit, they were witnesses. I legit rolled that. That was his legit character stats, man. He has been... That's why the name.
Did you? So that first game was D&D, and then so you hooked up with another delinquent, and you guys played D&D, and then you fell in love with the game, not with the delinquent.
Oh yeah, committed, baby.
We've been together ever since.
Yeah.
No, D&D. I mean.
Oh yeah, oh dude, yeah, playing D&D in the '80s, where you were obviously some secret Satanist or something retarded. It's just like
It'll never live that down, will it? I guess.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Satanic Panic. It's like, dude, I don't even believe in Satan, really. Honestly, if you ask me at the point of a gun, sorry.
What one of my best friends?
I just like vicarious counter fantasies.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my best friends who's a big gamer now. When I first introduced him to gaming, he found out we were playing D&D, and he goes, "D&D, isn't that Satan worshiping game?" And I go, "Yeah, you want to play?" And he goes, "Sure," because he was suspect, and he wanted to see what it was really about. And then when we ended up playing Traveler or whatever, and he saw it wasn't evil or whatever, then
Yeah,
he loved it, you know. And he plays D&D and everything else because it's not that, you know.
That is good to hear.
Yeah.
Good. I always like bringing more into the tribe.
Yeah, it's just using your brain. I mean, even if you're religious, God gave you a brain, use it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
gave you creativity if that's what you believe, you know.
fair enough. Indeed, like I love when people are like, "God wanted us to fly when He gave us wings, but He did give us smarts to fill the airplanes, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or is that evolution? Pick your pick.
Well,
gotta pick one.
Yeah.
Natural causes or divine. Either way, we got airplanes.
Exactly.
So apparently, we can fly. Oh
So,
yeah. So about your
tell me about how you kind of transitioned from D&D into Traveler.
The UWM third floor union, baby. We played everything from this game called Crime Fighters, which was a 5-page game about crime busting in the 30s that we'd gotten out of a Dragon magazine, to Villains and Vigilantes, to D&D, to Traveler eventually. And since I was already part of the group at that point, I was in. And Octavian in space for the win.
Did you were
Hmm?
you what was it about Traveler that piqued your interest or that brought you back for a second game?
I am a child of the Apollo age. Men walked in the moon in my youth. And my mom, for all her problems and everything I say bad about her, I will always be happy about the fact that at 5:30 in the morning, she came down and got me up to watch the last moon launch. Because she knew it was, and I didn't until it was over. And I kind of missed the fact that we had a chance there to advance humanity to the stars, and we screwed up because basically it was just propaganda for both sides, and it was really disheartening. It disheartened me now, except for the fact that even there's a war going on. Our space people, our science people are kind of like, but it's kind of dumb, and maybe we could stop.
Right.
It's like it hurts everybody. You're not winning anything, even if you win. Ask America.
Was there something that you looked forward to technologically wise when you were a kid that you thought you'd have when you grew up, like flying cars or like a moon base or something like that?
Yeah, regular space travel and robots. Can't lie, androids. I thought they were the coolest. I mean, yeah, I wanted to be out there. I mean, planet Earth's cool and all, but my heart's always been in the stars. They showed me space as a child, and I was like, I'm hooked. I'm in. Let's do this.
I'm glad we have a space station.
Yeah, but the truth is our space station could be better. I mean, we really do at this point to have the technologies to build something maybe with its own gravity, finally, guys. I mean, we've had the whole idea of build it round and then spin it for artificial gravity since like the 60s. Maybe we could do that instead of sending people up into space for a year where their bones just disintegrate and stuff and their muscles degenerate. Not because they're not exercising, just because space is mean and it's trying to kill you harder than the ocean, which also, I don't know what it is about me. I mean, it's funny. I hate going on boats. Even though you can swim and float in water, you can still stay in contact with the air. There's stuff you need to live. But I want to go to space where, like, literally, if all the air runs out, you just die.
Yep.
You get freeze dried. That's it. You know,
Yep.
bang,
Freeze dried.
Game over.
Human jerky. Well,
For
first you get the
real,
bends
dude.
real bad.
Oh yeah, shush.
The super bends.
The thing that kills me all about, like, you remember when Gravity came out and
Yeah.
they had the commercial and they'd show this Kessler syndrome starting and they always like, nobody could imagine it, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, imagine it. That's like my worst nightmare. I am trapped in a space disaster in a suit with 8 hours of air.
Right.
There's nothing more horrifying than realizing that you just basically got to sit there and watch that counter go down. Try not to panic because that just uses it quicker.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, all of those games are like, that's a stat. Here's your health meter, here's your stamina meter. Oh, here's how much oxygen you have to live, turkey. Don't run out till you just die.
Yep. Well,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
floating out in your spacesuit is maybe at least more of a chance, at least for a little bit more life than plummeting to Earth in space junk. I don't know.
If it comes to that, dude, I'm gonna go out like Dark Star. I'm gonna find me a chunk and surf down, baby.
Surf down on an antimatter bomb. Ride it down like a
like a surfboard.
Yeah.
It's like that dude.
Yep. Did he ride it like a
And
surfboard,
that's
or was he
really-
like, or was he riding it like a buck and bronc, like yeehaw, like
No,
Catch
you're riding
22?
like a surfboard. You're confusing that with Dr. Strangeglove.
Oh yeah.
No, in Dark Star, he rides it down on a surf, doing his little hang ten move.
Right.
It's dope. Oh God, that movie. How could he live? It was full of air, guys. God, I hope we're not having chicken tonight. I know I ate chicken. I mean, it was full of air. How could you live if it was full of air? Maybe we'll have roast beef. I love roast beef. Poor Sergeant Pinback. I'm not even supposed to be on this mission.
They got the captain had an injury along the way, and so they've got him in deep freeze, and he's barely conscious. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
yep.
Those-
They consult him sometimes.
Tell me one thing. What, Captain? What? Did the Dodgers win? This is not the time, Captain. The bomb's about to explode. Oh, God. It's not surprising that they went on to make such good movies later with real money. You know, it was like, dude, have you seen their student film? It's balls crazy funny, dude. It's actually rolling regularly, and it's cheap as hell.
So, do you remember your early Traveler games and what got you hooked?
The same thing that makes me always want to play nobles. I got to be the prince of an empire. You know, basically, literally, was Octavian. You know, I'm like, ooh, this is cool. I get an entourage of my own spaceship fleet. And then I, you know, kind of like the scout service because those are the kind of, you know, books I read sometimes. And yeah, I liked it because it was science fiction. And I'd then been exposed to any other games by that point. So for me, it was the science fiction role-playing game. And also, those little black books were cool. You collect a whole bunch of them and throw them in a backpack. You had an entire setting to play with. I mean, and I liked making starships in sectors. That was my thing. Rolling up starships, rolling up subsectors next to Regina in one of those empty places, you know, like not quite in the Forehaven, but pretty much close. And then, yeah, I would just make those up and make up ships and occasionally wrangle my friends into playing with me. Even though I don't think any of them really actually like the game like I do. Belongs. Yeah.
Yeah, we need some. You need to print some new ones up, brother.
Oh, God, I wish. It would just be so cool. That's why I love this making steak out of, you know, muscle tissue and cells and stuff. It's like, guys, we're just so close to actually being able to clone, you know, build pieces of human bodies for transplants.
Yep.
Which would be just so cool. Like, oh, your spleen got blown up in a car accident? No problem.
Right.
know?
We'll have one ready for you in a couple of days.
Yeah, we're just gonna put you on this machine for a while and then bang. You know.
Although medical
also,
technology is like coming along pretty well. I mean, my friend had they have a procedure where they they get like some pig skin or something, and then they can flush all the DNA out of it, and it just leaves like the cartilage lattice behind, and then your own skin overgrows that, and they use it to patch like bad injuries or.
I know.
In my friend's case, it was a bad hernia operation gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. I worry about those since I had a gastrointestinal disease anyway.
Yeah. They did all kinds of things. They put all kinds of mylar things in there, and they just got infected. And they wiped out his belly button. We were teasing him that he was a clone. Now he was a clone. Prove that you're not a clone. We were just trying to make the best of a bad situation. But
yeah, you're that. Trust me.
Eventually recovered thanks to that technology.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it weren't for plastics, I wouldn't be probably alive either. So
right.
I'm pretty okay with that.
So what eventually inspired you to create the Herald-Class Yacht?
Literally, like I needed a ship for the 8 players for my T5 beta test over on Cody, the Citizens of the Imperium website, who made me a mod.
Oh, you're a mod over there? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't argue. I do. I argue. I basically go, here's my defense. And then Will would be like, yeah, that's nice. But you said retarded on our website, and that's definitely against the rules. So here's your infraction. And I was like, okay, I guess I was feeding, sign my ticket and go away, you know? And, he was just like, this is the rules. You broke the rules. What's it going to be from here? And it was like, it's going to be, I broke the rules. Sorry. And, yeah.
I'm glad they didn't treat it heavy-handedly and boot you off. I mean, because people deserve a second chance, in my opinion, to apologize and make amends.
No, honestly, dude, people think that the mods over on Cody are like, they're all mean and stuff. It's like, nah, dude. There are past serious discussions about, like, whether or not this person is just being. But as I was saying, the mods over there, there's always discussion about whether or not somebody gets dinged and how hard they get dinged. Unless you're obviously a spammer, in which case you're just gone.
Right.
Because, no spam bots.
Right.
But when it comes to actual members, a lot more second chances and third and fourth chances get given to people than they realize, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, maybe so. I posted something in a wrong forum or something when I was new there. And, man, I was so afraid that they were going to kick me out.
No. You have to be really egregious.
They were merciful. Yeah, no.
No, it's like, dude, if you're just being, like people who get into personal attacks, it's like, no, dude, you need to settle down now. I mean, you'll see if you've been there long enough, you'll see occasionally the tape will come up. Like, y'all need to settle down and we're closing the thread. And sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's just the red tape comes down and it's just like, no, we shut this down. Y'all are out of hand. People could get very dinged here, but we're just going to shut it down before anybody gets dinged.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, modding is a lot more serious than people give it credit for. I mean, it's not. Maybe that's why they gave it to me, because I don't treat it like I'm both of authority. I can do whatever I want. I'm like, I'd rather not have to ding you, thank you.
Right.
I have to do paperwork. I'm like, any cop, I don't want to do paperwork. Me kid, maybe leave a laser on the ship. That's all I'm saying.
So how did you get involved in the Traveler 5 beta test? Was that through the Citizens of the Imperium forums, or?
Yep.
Okay.
And I saw a T5 beta forum private, and I was like, what? What T5 beta? There isn't a T5. And I go looking, and I'm like, it's a real thing, and I couldn't quite get in. I'm like, okay, let's see who runs this. Don runs it. Okay. Hey, Don, I want in. And Don's like, but I don't see your name on the list of people who ordered the CD. And I'm like, but I'm a poor working guy and I can't afford it yet. But if you let me in, I promise on my version and the Baron of the Imperium as a noble, I will damn well get it as soon as I can get it. And he let me in. And yeah, hell yeah, I got it. And started a game there. And I had 8 players and I needed a mission. So their mission was going to be take the Zodani ambassador from 1100 over to Succardi, pick up the new ambassador, bring him back, who may or may not be the same guy in 1105 who goes, oh, by the way, we're at war with you. Which I thought was a nice tie-in. And then Mark did a really cool thing. And in like the very first T5 Taz, I think, our journal has a little blurb in the news section about, the transfer of the Jordanian ambassador, exchange of the ambassadors. And so none of them had high enough rank. I made my NPC count, and I gave him this brand new spanky yacht with telepathic switches and all that. And I drew out a basic look of it. And next thing I know, Mark Lucas was like, hey, I can make some plans and stuff for that. And he did. And then I had a ship, and the game collapsed because of life. And I'm just terrible about that sometimes. But I was like, I could probably sell this. And I wanted, since I've been here at development, literally I've been in T5 in the beta, and I've been involved in a lot of sewing circle discussions. Let me see if Mark will give me a license. And he did. And he even renewed it. So, yeah. And it keeps selling. And so now I'm working on other stuff finally.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So, you want to tell us? Oh wait, before we go on to that, we're doing, we're doing a theme this year, and it's agents. So, in Traveler, that would be, anybody from like James Bond and even like Austin Powers, but more seriously, like the Prisoner or the Avengers, or maybe even it would be any police officer or bounty hunter or law enforcement officer. Okay. Spanning the entire like sci-fi realm, what would your favorite agent? Your favorite sci-fi agent?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. In my heart goes out to Logan 5 because, like, the poor kid's a clone. And they gave him a rough mission. And if you read the book, it's even worse. I mean, that movie made that trip look way cooler than it is in the book. And the book is on a weirder ending because they go to Mars. Which is just like, wait, what? That's not how the movie went.
I never read the book. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's actually a book. That's one of the early books that started me on finding novelizations, or the novel that the book was based on, or that the movie was based on. And yeah, it's actually got a sequel, as I recall. And but also, honestly, I mean,
so Logan 5.
I got to give it to Sean Connery's Deputy Marshal on Outland.
Okay,
that was always pretty cool.
Also a popular choice.
I mean, the Lensmen are kind of cool because, you get the super psychic death powers of, I can do pretty much anything because it's kind of a Green Lantern ring. I don't know. I'm not really into the agent types much. I mean...
Well, those are both good choices, I think.
Actually, I take that back. I do have one. Technically, Miles kind of counts as an agent of the Crown as well. I mean... He is kind of working for naval intelligence for his home planet because they kind of were like, well, we can't exactly fucking execute you because you're a noble's kid. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to stay in other space and under this cover identity, and then you can do your mercenary thing and feed us all the intelligence you get. Also, Kevin Renner, Moon God's Eye. That poor bastard. And what's his name? Hiram, was it? No, the guy who was into the coffee. God, it's been so long since I read that.
I don't know that one.
Molten God's Eye?
No, I've never read it. I should.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everybody recommends it.
And even important now, one of my friends, I think it was Paul, Paul Sullivan, said that basically, Niven and Pornell write better together than either of them does separately. And I have found that to be true. And so, yeah, I found they basically, I was hanging out with science fiction kid nerds who were older than me by a couple of years. And so they started turning me on all these different books. And they really got me started on the Code Dominium. Oh,
Cool.
ship's cat.
Ship's cat. So what have you been up to since our last Mayday? Did you attend any? Well, I know with COVID, you probably didn't go to any conventions, but
I
did you
do not
finish
do
up any
conventions yet.
finish
No,
any productions or start any new Discord servers or?
I started. Yeah, I'm actually running the Discord server now. I am working still on the Shackleton, but I have gotten to the point now where actually I gave my quote-unquote lift infantry unit regiment over to Mike Barger, who did the T5 refit for the Scout, I think it was, over on drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
And he has done me up a military detachment once before for the game. I needed a bunch of guys to extract secret agents. And so he gave me a little layout, a little group unit. And so I was like, let me ask him if he'll help me with this. And he looked at it, and as usual, when I have an idea and I take it to somebody who's way more professional than I am and knows a lot more about that profession, being the military, and he was like, so here's the deal. Points to you for remembering logistics. But some of this stuff is definitely going to need some total ripping out and redoing.
That's so not how this works. Like that's not how any of this works.
Yeah. So he's been kind of educating me, and we're building, or looks like we're going to end up with a composite unit of drop troops. So from going from a bunch of lift infantry, they're probably going to be more like a drop assault or strike unit from the looks of it. So more drop belts, more grab belts, more drop capsules. Some more high tech. I did get to tell him this one, which has always been kind of fun, which is like, yeah, my university, Imperium, runs the capital world is tech level 18 natively. So, maybe throw in some TL16 equipment, because technically, even the new Traveler the Milieu 1900, is based with a tech level of like 16, 17, with some few things that might be 18 maybe. But it's definitely up the tech level a bit for Traveler.
Right.
So I figured, my tech levels go up to, 20 plus in my game, in my setting. So I'm like, yeah, it's time to start maybe adding some new high-tech stuff. Not everybody who plays Traveler, myself included, is all about like, I want shotguns in space. Outland is cool, but I want phaser pistols. Sorry. I like energy weapons, kids.
Tell us a little bit about your Herald-Class Yacht. A little bit more. What size ship is that?
800 tons, jump 3, I think maneuver 3, and power plant 4, because it has particle guns. And I actually was kind of pretending to pay attention to the EP. Good armor, wilderness refueling, because you never know.
Right, right.
And of course, the finer accoutrements, of which you've been really doing an amazing job on that virtual tabletop version.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm still looking forward to seeing. What I've seen so far is, dude, I thought I knew how big it was, but I keep forgetting that one of my favorite pictures is kind of low res that Mark did, which is it's sitting on the deck, basically on kind of a sandy color. And there's like 3 people down by the main airlock at the back, standing. And that just, I have shots of him where he basically took a Scout and slapped it next to the model so that I could see the comparison size and everything. But nothing quite brought the scale of those 3 little dudes, those 3 little people standing at the back airlock, and just how huge the ship was compared to that. And you're doing the whole virtual tabletop version again, just brought it home like, oh yeah, that's 63 meters, 800 tons of ship.
Yeah, there's 5 decks. Yeah.
The bottom deck is like, what, 30, 40 tons?
Yeah, there's not much to it. It's just the airlock, basically. But then they get bigger and bigger as you go towards the top, and the accommodations deck has, like, all these rooms and nicely appointed and stuff.
You did a bang up job on that, by the way. Seriously, it's just
thanks. The descriptions in the book helped make the deck plans pop and come to life better on the BTT for me.
I'm
So
glad I did a good job then.
yeah, you did. Yeah, thanks for collaborating on that. It's totally awesome.
No, I appreciate it. I definitely am happy to see you go out because, yeah, I mean, I've got the one ship. Yes, Kitty, I love you. Hold on for a second. Ship the cat wants love.
What aspect of the Herald-Class Yacht makes you most proud? Was it when you got that book in your hand for the first time?
Like I said, well, maybe I didn't this time. Stephanie's cover is amazing.
Yes.
And she did that for me. That thing is so banging. I mean, the color, right down to the colors, to the negative space use, just, I'm pretty sure it sells a lot more of that book than I'd like to, normally admit. I mean, I know my writing might not be too terrible, apparently, but that cover, I would buy that book.
Yeah, I like it. It's easy to find on my shelf because it's hardback.
Yeah. Well, I wanted a hardback book. I like hardbacks myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also Mark Lucas did a beautiful job at just rendering my kind of okay design into something really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great.
Super pleased with how beautiful it looks. So no, I'm not. It's the whole thing, dude. It was a beautiful collaboration of people working to make something that I wish I could own in real life.
So, what's your plans between this Mayday and next Mayday? You got some long-term production plans?
Maybe try to get get the starter light package put together, so I have an actual setting, document to show people. So like, here's $5. Check it out. It's like 16 pages of stuff. Shows you what my starting empire looks like, and then still working on the Shackleton, and hopefully, have a really cool salvage rescue ship and a couple of variants like the liner and the mercenary cruiser and a fuel tender, because the whole point of the Shackleton was like, everybody builds warships, because they're cool and they're fun and you get to play space combat with them. But there's a whole slew of ships out there besides that. The world is not just destroyers. So that's pretty much where I'm at there. And then, I don't know, it's like one of the many other projects I have. I mean, technically, I still have a scout ship to finish and a 600-ton subsidizer far trader to finish as well. So, yeah, I got tons of stuff under the back burner, and I wish my staff was more than just me. And, a couple of really cool artists.
Better get cracking. Get cracking, Craig. You got a fan base depending on you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm surprised there's 10 people almost on the Discord already, since I just really kind of opened it up proper. So yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, promote it around, and we'll link it up this video, and we'll help spread the word.
Yeah. Oh God.
Quick, close the airlock door.
Be responsible some more.
Who sent you? Was it CyborgPrime?
Oh my God. No, it's
So Craig, how do people contact you and find your products? Do you have a website, social media, e-store, Twitter?
I have the drive-through RPG spot, page, of course, which has got our character sheet and the Herald. I got a Facebook page, Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC, and I now have the Discord, which is also Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. That's pretty much it on the whole sociable aspects of it. I don't really have a YouTube channel because I don't make videos. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Pretty much the soul of it. I have the drive-through RPG, the Facebook, and the Discord. That's me. Well, that's the company anyway.
Right. Well, cool. All right, man. Well, it's been so nice chatting with you. We've come to the end of our interview.
Yes, okay, cool. I will let me know when to ship books and stuff. And again, congratulations on number 4 year. I hope to be here for number 5.
Thank you. I hope you'll return.
See you in another year, maybe.
Fantastic. And well, I'm glad that we're connected online because we can chat more often. We don't have to wait for a year.
There's that too. Extra hanging on my Discord.
Absolutely. All righty, guys. Well, folks, I'm your host, Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and I've been talking today with my friend Craig Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC, maker of the Herald-Class Yacht, which is a fun little, big yacht for your your traveler nobles to fly around in space. So check out that product. Craig, thanks so much for participating in our 4th annual Traveler Mayday event. I hope you'll join us again next year.
I hope to. That's the plan. And thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. And thank you, dear listener, for joining us for the 4th annual Traveler Mayday event. That's all for now, travelers. Until next time, happy traveling.
This data crystal will self-destruct in 5 seconds.